feel your feelings, and know yourself. Have you ever had a big blowout with somebody, or you just have woke up feeling like in a bad mood or cranky, or maybe you started off the day in a good mood, feeling pretty good, and then somehow you just feel triggered, like you just want to do something, right? Have you ever just done that where you suddenly find yourself snapping at people, or conversely to that, you just having a great day going all along and someone says something to you and you just feel the heat, the anger, you're just ready to rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? You want to throw hands. You know what I'm saying? You want to give a two-piece maybe, right? Okay. Now, we all have had those moments, and us spiritual people, or us people who are on the ascent or trying to just actually know ourselves, accept ourselves, and grow, right? By integrating everything. We sometimes feel like, oh man, oh gosh, I just beat myself up. Or I just can't get right. I can't be nice to people. Or dang, how come I'm suddenly so triggered, right? And then we start pounding down on ourselves. Or we say, you know what, I'll do better next time. And then next time comes, we never do better. I think I gave enough of a general feeling for what I'm trying to say here, right? I think that was enough. And so how do we get into this? So being triggered, first of all, being triggered is a good thing. Yeah, there are people out there who will say, "Oh, you don't need to get triggered." And I may have said that before. Don't let yourself get triggered and you're going to ruin your spiritual growth, or you're going to ruin your vibrations. Your vibrations are going to drop and you're going to all this stuff. Your manifestations, all this stuff. Sure, for a second. But we're in the land of delay. So anything you're trying to manifesting isn't going to come right away anyway, because we're in the land of delay. Just imagine if every time you got mad at somebody and said, I wish somebody would just drop kick them in the face and all the other stuff you could say, right? And it would have happened to that person. You probably regret it right now. Probably be like, oh, oop, let me watch my thoughts. And yes, we need to watch our thoughts, but we're not there yet. Right now we're on why is being triggered good? Why is it beneficial? Because it's good and bad and beneficial, right? It's beneficial and it's good for you because number one, it shows you where you are. It shows you where your consciousness is. It shows you what you care about. It puts everything at the forefront. Everything that's sitting at your forehead or at the forefront of your brain, or right there on the verge of your at the edges of your feelings, is going to be triggerable. So it gives you. It's a mirror back to you. Being triggered is awesome because you can start writing it down. Oh, that triggered me. Oh, I'm triggered. And you write it down. Just write it down. Even if you use your notepad on your phone, or even if you scribble it with pencil on the back of a receipt, or you send it to yourself as a digital email, whatever, write it down. Being triggered is important. It will show you exactly your history. It'll show you your future. It'll show you where you are right now in your state of consciousness. And that is where you can do so much work. Okay. And how is it bad? Okay, let's do that. It can be bad because you can say things that you did not mean to say. You could hurt someone who can never get over it. Literally, they never get over it. They never say anything, but somehow that relationship isn't just the same. It's just not quite right. It could also lead you into getting your ass whipped. Like, that's just real talk, right? You could pop off on the wrong person and that just wasn't, going to work out for you ever, right? It could also be bad in a sense, feels bad for us that we did that, but really good for the other person. Like maybe that person really needed to know what your boundary was, and maybe that was the day they're going to finally get it. So like there's good, bad, and beneficial. So benefit of that is that they will never try you again. They will never, ever try you again, right? All right, okay. So that's why being triggered is a great thing. Okay. And now I was going to say, now, how do we stop feeling angry and stop being so triggerable? That's my number two, is you realize that everything we're being triggered about has absolutely nothing to do with that moment. That might not be able to happen to you for in the exact moment when you're heated, but you wrote it down. And so you come back to it and try to remember every single time you felt triggered like that, because being triggered is a biological, a hormonal, a neurochemical reaction, and it's from memory. Our brain stores memory. Our body stores memory on a high degree of efficiency, such that the color, the smell, the sound, a touch, a time can trigger exact moments in the past which you felt a certain things. That's how we're wired into the reality. So that's a side story. I'm going to get to that time loop in another video, but this is how we are wired in, because we don't live in a linear progression. We live all now. But the body, the mind, the memory is building the story. And so how does it remember things on the story? It remembers using all of your senses, your hormones, and your signal transduction through your body, your synapses between neurons. And so being triggered is more electric than magnetic. It's electric and it's fast. So you have to be able to pay attention to that. So then there you have it, right? So that's the number two, is that this memory in your body is something that you can, again, write down and say, okay, and change it for yourself. This is the work of the number three. No, the number four, because the number three is going to be about anger and how do we just deal with that. So you should never feel angry again. If once you do this work that I just said, and then you add this component, breathe throughout your day. Before you step foot outside of your own personal space, if you live with someone, when you go to the restroom in the morning or you go get coffee or whatever, you go do your gardening or whatever you're going to do, take that time, that moment, these minutes, this breath, and get very centered with yourself. Remember, you're doing this work for yourself, but it's going to benefit everybody else in the whole world. And then you start to be very aware of how much time you have in the day, how much there is in the pauses. And that most of the time we're feeling triggered because we're rushing and we are impatient. And so all these things are just flying at us and we don't have the time to contemplate our body, our emotional system, our chakra system throughout the day. This is a daily, all day meditation. It's not a one-time sit down, I'm going to meditate now. It's like I'm carrying this through my mindfulness throughout the day. I let go of my monkey mind and start focusing one thing at a time. So I'm trying to multitask and just be actually present for yourself. Okay. And then the last one. Okay. And so a solution, I've already said, write it down. I've already said, tap into your body. I've already said to realize that you have so much time in the day. Take time for yourself, meaning be mindful about your movements, about what you're projecting into the world. Breathe more, be mindful more, stop thinking so much. Don't overdo it. Just relax and have simplicity in your life. And now, the final one I wanted to add was to not feel angry about life, is to lighten up. Just lighten up. Just realize that all of this, all of it is an illusion. It's not even real the way we think it's real. We're living in a dream. And so we can flip the script by rewriting the CD or writing over the you remember those tapes, writing over the cassette tape or writing over the movie. We can rewrite the story by rescripting how we see this stuff. So what do I mean by that? Rescripting what your body thinks it's reacting to. When you feel triggered and you've written it down and you've contemplated all of that and you remember the memories that's happened there, maybe you haven't. You can just say, okay, well, let me start from this new one. And then when it happens again, you can compare the two and say, you know what, in my gut and the color of blue or the smell of this, or, you know, when someone talks to me when I'm feeling like that, these are the things that I feel triggered by, so that you set yourself up to write it over and say, no. From now on, when I realize like someone's telling, because this is a pet peeve of mine, when someone's telling me a story, but they're telling me a story about somebody they knew 20 years ago, and they're building that whole story up, that whole relationship, to compare it to a lateral relationship 30 years, you know, from before that, or, you know, their grandparents, and they're telling this elaborate movie of a story with 5 different characters, 20 moving parts, and then they want me to just get this one line of a dialogue to tell me the color blue is beautiful. I can't follow a story like that. It makes me so angry. So sometimes I feel like, okay, come on, let me pull the words out of your mouth. So that's a trigger for me. So what do I do now? Is instead of like tapping my finger or tapping my foot or saying, come on, like getting really frustrated, I try to pause and I try to create new memory in my mind for each and every character that the person is saying to me. And I try to be very into what they're saying. I don't have any distractions. I turn off whatever I was doing if I was interrupted, and I focus on this triggering situation. I give it my full attention. I breathe and I give myself love. I fill myself up with love because I know it's coming because I've studied myself enough. I know it's coming. I know I'm about to right? So I breathe. And if the story's getting long, I'm using this example. If the story's getting long, I'll be like, you know what? I was really busy, so give me 1 minute. And if I need to go in the other room and just be like, oh my God, I can't stand it. Because I'm working on myself, right? Because I want to be able to hear this story without falling into all those negative feelings that don't feel good, especially afterwards. And so basically that's it. You just rewrite it and you start saying, okay, this person is lovely and this is great. So say it's another trigger. Say it's traffic. And every time you get on the road, you know you're going to run into traffic on this one street. Say it's the I-5 or whatever it is. How about put on a book ahead of time? Have your favorite CD playing, or it's not CD, your favorite playlist going in the car. How about have your morning coffee sip it slower? How about you don't even count that as time? You don't look at it as I'm running late. These people are in my way. This jerk cut me off. None of that. Look at it as, I get to be in my car. Look how blue the sky is. Look how much rain is falling. Find something else to rewrite the story within your body to say, yeah, all right, this used to trigger me, but now these same set of elements, these same set of situational circumstances, I've changed the meaning of them. I've created a new meaning to them. So now, what have we done? We have altered our own DNA. We've altered the way our body reacts and produces proteins because when we're in a triggering, stressful situation, the body's levels of cortisol and epinephrine rise. And those are stress hormones, and that's going to cause you to layer fat, retain fat. It's also going to interrupt your sleep. It's going to cause all sorts of problems for you biologically, not to mention heart disease is followed by that. So what I'm saying is really important to take care of the body as well as the mind, as well as the spirit, right? And so rewriting your own DNA begins by paying attention to how we feel and paying attention to when we're triggered. So being triggered actually can help you down the road, the long stream effect to rewriting your DNA and your genetic responses, your biological responses to life.